Despite Africa's vast natural resources, the continent holds 30% of the world's mineral reserves, 60% of uncultivated arable land, and 10% of its oil. Africa remains the world's poorest continent. Why? Today we examine the major economic challenges Africa has faced since independence and how they connect to historical causes. The fundamental problem begins with colonialism. Colonial economics was extractive, not developmental. Colonies were structured to produce raw materials for European industries, not to develop self-sufficient, diversified economies. 1. Monoculture. Each colony specialized in one or two export crops or minerals. Ghana equals cocoa. Nigeria equals groundnuts, then oil. Zambia equals copper. This created dependency on a single commodity whose world price fluctuated wildly, beyond Africa's control. 2. Infrastructure built for extraction. Roads and railways went from resource areas to ports, not between cities and regions. So trade between African nations was extremely difficult. You had to export cocoa through the port of Tema on Ghana, but couldn't ship it by land to a neighboring West African country without enormous difficulty. 3. No industrial base. Colonial powers discouraged African manufacturing. Colonies were supposed to buy finished goods from Europe. After independence, Africa lacked factories, skilled labor, and capital. After independence in the 1960s, African governments faced these legacies plus new challenges. 1. Political instability. Military coups disrupted economic planning. Ghana under Nkrumah built factories, then the coup reversed policies. Nigeria had a civil war, 1967-70, that destroyed infrastructure. 2. Population growth. Africa's population has grown faster than its economy. Africa's population was about 277 million in 1960, it is now over 1.4 billion. Without matching economic growth, per capita incomes fall. 3. Debt crisis. In the 1970s, oil price rises increased African import costs, many governments borrowed heavily from Western banks. In the 1980s, commodity prices fell while interest rates rose, Africa could not pay its debts. By 1990, African nations owed over $250 billion in foreign debt. 4. Structural adjustment programs. SAPs. The IMF and World Bank responded to the debt crisis by requiring structural adjustment, cut government spending, privatize, remove subsidies, liberalize trade. SAPs reduced inflation and stabilized some currencies but often harmed ordinary people, removed healthcare subsidies, made education fees higher, led to mass retrenchments. 5. Brain drain. Educated Africans emigrated to Europe, North America, and Australia, taking skills Africa needed. Nigeria has lost thousands of doctors and engineers. This is both a cause and consequence of Africa's economic weakness. Africa Rising narrative. 2000s to 2010s Africa's GDP grew at 5 to 7% per year in the 2000s, faster than most other regions. Nigeria became Africa's largest economy in 2014. Mobile technology spread rapidly. M-Pesa in Kenya transformed financial inclusion. African stock markets attracted investors. However, critics noted this growth was largely commodity-driven. Oil, mineral prices were high, and created few jobs for ordinary Africans. Youth unemployment remains above 50% in many countries. Africa CFTA 2021. The African Continental Free Trade Area, when fully implemented, is the world's largest free trade area by number of countries, 54 nations. It aims to increase intra-African trade from 15% to 50% of total trade. This could be transformative. For WAEC, African economic challenges have historical roots: colonial monoculture, extraction economy, no industrial base. Post-independence, political instability, population growth, debt crisis, SAPs, brain drain. Recent, Africa Rising, growth was commodity-driven, not structural. AFCFTA 2021, hope for the future. Key events: debt crisis 1980s, SAPs from World Bank/IMF, HIPC, Heavily Indebted Poor Countries, Debt Relief Program, AFCFTA 2021.